Good evening, everyone. It is 6:00 p.m. on Tuesday, May 19th, 2026. I am calling the Ross Township Board regular meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, you may proceed with the roll call.
Trustee Beeks.
Here.
Trustee Harmon.
Here.
Supervisor Hutchings.
Here.
Trustee Langshaw. Here. Trustee White.
Here.
Treasurer Wiersma.
Here.
Clerk Stage here. All are present, and Rob Thal is attending the meeting.
So real quick, thank you, Clerk Stage. Real quick, I'm going to amend the agenda. I have appointments that I'll be making to the Planning Commission and ZBA. I would like to add that before the Ross Township Park Gatehouse. So it'll slide right in there, number 1 on new business. Any other comments? All in favor?
You have to make a motion to.
I'll move the
agenda.
motion.
Sorry.
I'll move to add the topic of appointees in front of Ross Township Park Gatehouse under new business. And approve the rest of the agenda.
I'll second.
Thank you. I have motion and support to add the additions of the appointments and approve the updated agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you for that. Moving into consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
In front of you, on your desks, is a new version of the minutes. Trustee Harmon called me today. There were 2 additional changes made. They were minor. Under page,
I can go over them. If you look at page 2 of 8, down under various committee updates, 3rd paragraph, it should have read, they also held their annual recognition dinner, not their reorganization. I mean, they may have reorganized, but. And then if you go to
page 5.
page 5, and under the first main paragraph, Murphy and Spagnola, it should say Attorney Thal at a past, so the period should be gone, A should be lower, and then it should be past, P-A-S-T, not P-A-S-S. And then down under Yorkville Church Agreement, there's the word church council, it's just a spelling.
So Diana, do you still approve the consent agenda with those changes that are in front of us today? I'll second.
So we have a motion and support to approve the draft meeting minutes that were just recirculated. Thank you for that. And approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving into citizen comment, we've got somebody that needs to get out of here. So I'm going to let you lead us off. Make sure your mic works. I didn't go over there and turn it on. Can you? Oh, it does. Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, try not to get it to squeal. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, Brian Walls, Life Care Ambulance Vice President. I do want to say that it is EMS week, so if you see your local firefighters and EMTs and paramedics, wish them happy EMS week for all they do for our communities. That's why I have to leave early. I have to go back and start cooking again for everybody, so hibachi for our crews. For our May report here, I have for our priority 1 calls, lights and sirens, we did a total of 16, 10 transports, 6 cancels, 1 transport, red lights and sirens, and our average response time was 10 minutes. For our priority 3 non-emergent responses, we had a total of 20 calls, 16 transports, 4 cancels, and an average response time of 15 minutes. Mutual aid, we received no mutual aid, and we gave mutual aid to Life EMS twice. For destinations, you can see that Beacon, we transported 12 calls there. Bronson, Kalamazoo 7, Bronson, Meadow Creek 7. For staffing, for our day crews, we were at 98% staffing, and for our night crew, we were at 95% staffing. The responses outside of Ross Township are listed below. And you guys do have a copy, correct? Yes. Okay. And then I just noticed that the copy that I have, I don't know if the one that was sent to you, is our log cut off? Is it cut off on yours?
no.
Nope.
Okay, it was just mine, so apologies. I'm gonna pull it up on my phone real quick, and it looks like, other than our liaison meeting, I spoke to Doug, to Chief, right before this meeting, and there's nothing that was brought to his attention, so that is information only that has been resolved. Other than that, we had one run where we had a patient care concern, just things were done in the correct order that we would prefer them to be done, and we addressed that internally for education and remediation. And that's all I have for a report. Any questions for me?
I do have a question.
Yes.
I can't remember if it was at our February or March meeting. I think Ron Slagle was here.
Okay.
He mentioned that you guys were having an issue with your fleet and you were working with the manufacturer to solve that problem. Has that been taken care of?
No, that
Okay.
still potentially could become a class action lawsuit. So yeah, there's engine failures with Ford, with the ambulances across the country. And
Okay,
we've had a significant number of those go out. We haven't had any recently that has been brought to my attention in Life Care's area.
okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions for me? Okay,
Go enjoy your hibachi.
okay. I can wait for a second in case there's public comment questions for me or.
Sure. We'll see if anybody wants to get up and chit chat.
Okay, I'm gonna take off then.
Thank you. Have fun.
Brian?
Moving into citizen comment. Please speak up. The meeting is being recorded for YouTube. We would appreciate if you clearly state and spell your last name for the minutes. Comments are strictly limited to 3 minutes. Citizen comment is designed for one-way commentary to address the board. All citizens providing comment should address their remarks to the supervisor or board chair, who may respond to provide brief factual information. Board members will refrain from speaking during citizen comment. If citizens need specific assistance, please contact Ross Township during business hours for additional guidance or information. Who would like to lead us off as I get my timer going?
Hi, my name is Tom Boyd, and I live at 12232 North Sherman Lake Drive. Good to see all of you again, and I don't think I've met the gentleman on the end yet, but I think I know the rest of you. I just want to thank you again for all the hard work, dedication, and time you put in over and over and over. You deal with a lot of difficult issues for our community, and I'm very pleased with the way that you guys manage and work through those as a team. This week, I received an email from 2 residents on our lake commenting about the upcoming SAD for Sherman Lake, and I know it's a sore topic for those 2 individuals. They spent much of their time the last 2 weeks parading around the neighborhoods trying to drum up support to defeat the SAD. They were turned away from many homes in the community. These 2 are very vocal, very negative on many of the types of things we try to do around the lake to make it a better place. We have a history of over 20 years of successful SAD support and implementation on our lake, and it's made a tremendous difference in the water quality, and it's made a tremendous difference in the way that resource is protected in the community. And I would just encourage you, as you read through the information they provided you, to take it with a bit of a grain of salt. There's a lot of misleading or misinformation in that email, and I would just encourage you to listen to the facts as they're presented with the SAD as the citizens come forward. I think there's a lot of good information in there, and I think you're going to see that the plan going forward will be positive for the community and for the lake. You know, it's interesting, these 2 individuals are opposed to the SAD, but they don't even know what the SAD is yet because it hasn't been formalized. So I just want to thank you again for your time and for your support.
Thank you. So has anybody received any emails of opposition with the Sherman Lake SAD?
That must have came after.
I have not, so thank you for letting us know it's going to be coming. I appreciate that. I was copied?
How did it start? I don't recall.
I don't have, yeah, we didn't receive anything.
I don't know, I didn't check my email before I came in here.
It looked like it came from a realtor, but it was from Carrie Lynn Nealon at the bottom. So maybe in your junk or spam. I can bring a copy tomorrow or later in the week if you want to see it. You guys are all copied on it with your email.
Was that today?
No, it was last week.
That's interesting.
Or you could just forward it to us, couldn't he?
Yeah, why not? I have not seen it, so. Seems like nobody's seen it.
I mean, if it goes to our spam and we don't check spam, Rob, are we in trouble?
No, but if it's a FOIA, you'd want to check your spam every so often to make sure that you're receiving FOIAs.
That particular
So
resident
you're
emails us
suggesting
a
we don't
lot.
delete our spam then either then, right?
Well, you should check it first and look at it.
Yeah, I don't have anything in my spam on that. I don't have anything in the email on it.
I check mine somewhat frequently, and I don't have any spam either.
I get a lot of spam, and I don't see it in mine. All right, moving on. Who else would like to address the board for public comment? Okay, I'm shutting it down. It is 6:13 PM. Done. Moving into various committee updates, it could be police, fire. We already did ambulance or public safety initiatives. Who would like to lead us off?
Good evening, folks. April was a good month. We got people coming back, so property checks have dropped down. I don't have the data yet for the ticket program that I want, or the traffic program I wanted to bring to you yet, but we're working on it. Hopefully I'll have it for you next month. Lots of traffic hazards because a lot of trees came down. Fortunately, I don't carry a chainsaw, Doug does. And standard response from Richland. They handled almost a little over a dozen calls for us. The boat is in. I'm planning on switching my work schedule to what I call my summer schedule, which means I'll be working weekends starting Memorial Day weekend. So anybody want to come ride with me? Come, I'll take you out on the boat. We can have some fun. Don't know how the weather's going to cooperate, but we're cautiously optimistic. Do have three Marine patrolmen that will be starting with me, and 2 Richland officers will probably come part-time. All that money will be funded by Great Lakes, or Gull Lake Water Quality Organization. All right, it's not coming out of the general fund. It'll be a grant that I have. Okay. Any questions?
We received a $3,000
Yes.
donation from Gull Lake Quality Organization.
Yep, and that's what we'll use to fund the Marine Patrol. So I got more eyes out there. It's basically, if we have eyes out there, we don't have problems out there. So we're gonna put eyes out there. My goal is, if I have enough people out there, those days, I will not be on the water. I'll be driving around patrolling in the truck.
The roads.
That's the plan. We'll see how it comes together there. But again, the funding is paid for by Gull Lake Water Quality.
Steve, a quick question. The Richland officers, they can write tickets.
Yes.
But the other ones that are going to be
They
on
gotta
jet.
call them us. They gotta call one of us.
They call one of you. Okay, that's what I
Yeah,
thought. Just wanted to confirm
they're
that.
my eyes, because the biggest problem I found in years past was, it's just like with kids, okay? If dad's over here, they're gonna play over here. And if dad's over here, they're gonna play over there. So this allows me to have eyes,
Will they be primarily on the jet skis or using the boat and
both.
jet skis?
Boat and jet.
I haven't
skis.
seen the jet skis. Are they marked clearly as police
Yes.
vehicles? Nice.
And they got red and blue lights on it, and no siren, but red and blue lights. The boat has a siren on it and a PA speaker. So, and they will be communicating with me, so they're not gonna be on their own. They're gonna communicate with me, and report any issues they're having, and then we'll respond accordingly.
And we will periodically be popping over to Sherman Lake.
We haven't yet. We could. I mean, we'd have to do it with the
Maybe
Sea-Doo,
maybe a
with
jet
a
ski.
Jet ski over there. We could do that because I hear the kayak crew is they paddle pretty fast.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, yeah. But if there's a need, there hasn't been a need yet, so we haven't. But if there is, it seems the need for us is more land-based over there than water-based.
I mean, my take would be it's probably more checking the boat launch area
Sure, we can do that.
occasionally.
We can increase the boat launch check.
We had some turtle trapping. We tried to get the DNR out. They removed the turtle traps before we could get DNR on the water. So that was something that was a problem last year. Speaking of DNR, Martin and I met with the DNR last month. We had an individual take issue with there's no signage on Gull Creek for slow no wake. And when I reached out to our DNR officer, he said that there should be documentation for that on file with the DNR. The channels are narrow enough, it would be difficult to put buoys in there. So I've been reaching out to Plainwell. They had issues with their phones and they had a power outage. The individual that I should be talking to is out until May 27th. And when I spoke with Officer Nason, he said he also is trying to get the slow and awake permits for both Sherman Lake Channel and Gull Creek Channel.
You put the signs if you.
Well, we don't know
Good
because
question.
DNR is the one that tells us what to do. So when the slow no wake zone was approved by the DNR for the bay, they then sent a letter that said, these are our recommendations and this is what you need to do to make this work. So they said, here's the coordinates and you have to buy the buoys. So I did find the minutes from June 10th, 1971, that the board accepted and resolved to have slow no wake zones for Gull Creek and Sherman Lake channels, but we have no documentation, no permit, nothing. So I am working with the DNR to hopefully get those empirical records and get those posted because we just cannot go post signs on waterway. The DNR
Right.
needs to order us. We can't throw buoys in the water without the DNR ordering us where the coordinates are. So I just wanted to make sure we had several individuals write into Ross Township complaining that the channels were not signed. It's been since 1971. I would think common sense would be you can't create a huge wake in a channel because they are
But I'm
narrow,
sure somebody can figure it out.
right? Because they are narrow, but we are waiting to hear from the DNR. So I owed an update that Martin and I are still waiting for that permit from 1971 to come through.
It's a little slow.
It's a little,
even for
it's a
DNR.
little slow.
And the DNR also was going to go around where residents have put their own buoys in.
Yeah, so we talked about this last month. The only buoys that are allowed on any lake is a mooring buoy, and it is a round white buoy that has a blue stripe on it. If you have anything else other than that, DNR is going to take your buoy and they are going to send you a fine. They've been doing this for 2 years. They've been giving warnings, but they're not giving warnings anymore.
How many have they seen out there?
Last year, there were probably in the neighborhood of 24 or more.
Is that something that Gull Lake, the Gull Lake community, that they can send out to tell people? I mean, I guess people know. They just keep
Yeah,
doing it.
People know.
People know. Yeah.
People know. They, a lot of them are orange and
Or the boat bumpers.
the boat bumpers.
They just lay.
There's
put
a
those out there.
hodgepodge of buoys out there.
I'd put a mooring boat one out there if I wanted one.
But they're
You have to have a
also-
reason why. It can't just be to rope off your swim area. You have to have a sailboat moored to it.
Yep.
So they've been doing it for 3 years, and Officer Nason told us that they're done doing the warnings. They're just gonna start clipping
Yep.
buoys.
But that's a DNR operation. We'll assist if they ask us, but they will probably do it during the week. And they've done it before without our assistance, so.
Yes, we are not involved in that. Thank you for clarifying that. Anything else that we've worked on since the last time we met? I don't believe so.
I don't believe so. I think we got it all covered.
Thanks, Chief.
All right.
Have a good night. Chief Bogema.
don't have last month's report yet. I was hoping Jake would send it to me real quick, but.
We have it.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
Do you want a copy?
Yeah, well, you can.
Here,
just so
take
everybody-
mine and you can talk about it. It went out in the board packet. Well, then why were you waiting for Jake to give it to you if you didn't need it?
Well, I don't, here, so at any rate, April was a busy month, with the storm. In about 3 days, we responded to like 20 calls in 3 days, so, I think the 5 or 6
How-
guys that responded to the calls didn't get much sleep.
How many calls?
I think we responded to about 20 calls in about 3
Oh,
days.
okay. I'm
We responded
really
to,
misunderstood.
we responded to
you.
59 for the month, but 20 of them were in the 3 days period of that storm. So, medical calls were 20, car accidents with injuries were 2, false alarms, we had actually 7 commercial fire alarm activations and 2 residentials. Water flow alarm at the Bible conference, a couple of those. Calls by area, 53 in Ross Township and 5 by the village and 1 out of Township. So we assisted with Galesburg on a car accident at our favorite corner, G Avenue 96. So.
Were there any injuries?
No. So, and then we received aid from Hickory Corners, Bedford, and Galesburg at the Colt residence on 48th Street. And then we also had assist from Battle Creek Fire and the VA fire for smoke in a building at the Pentagon building out in Fort Custer. So actually, the Battle Creek Fire Department got called first because the incident came in at the gate, is where it got called in, which is Battle Creek. So we didn't get called until the VA got there, and then, so it was a little bit delay for us, so. We did some training at a house that we have with Richland up on DE Avenue. We're gonna go back to that, at least one more time. We did the car wash this last Saturday. That was a pretty successful, weather held out pretty decent for it too. We did had 3 people that came in for our hiring. We haven't heard back from any of them as of yet, so we'll see. We'll follow up on that, but we didn't get any definite responses. So we have some grants available. There's a $50,000 grant, and that was kind of put on hold, but I understand that the FEMA grants they just opened it back up today. So the FEMA grant is the one that we plan on pursuing, which we did with Hickory Corners last year, but we're going to pursue the SCBA's air bottles and the air fill station. So we'll get working on that to try to get that in. There's another DNR grant that we've got the paperwork pretty much filled out for. That's a 50-50 grant. So we just have to decide what we're going to pursue on that one. We're trying to get the last year's DNR grant finished up because I have to do that here in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Amanda's chewing on my butt, I think.
Receipts, I need receipts.
So our radios, I believe, are ordered. We were one of the first ones in the county that were able to do that. So that part.
Great job with that.
And so other than that, I think that's about it. So anyway, there's two.
On the radios, you are still fully confident that it's going to be reimbursable through that grant system because we were the first now and everything.
Yes, yeah. It was still first come, first served, but most of the other departments didn't have, I mean, we had kind of worked on it even last year, and our portion is not a huge portion compared to like the city of Kalamazoo or Portage or some of the other departments, but we were one of the first ones. There's still, like I said, there's a lot of the departments that don't have the money that we have that can pay their portion, so that's what put us steps way ahead, so I think that's it as far as about the grants and all that, so.
Great job, Chief. Questions for the fire chief?
Do we need a motion to let them apply for that 50/50 grant? Because it's a 50%.
When will it go out?
When's it, it's due by June 30th?
We'll meet
Does
again.
that sound right? Okay.
that for the radios?
No, this
Oh,
is,
for some,
this is just for the regular DNR grant,
It's a DNR grant, it's only
10,000.
so we have to pay 5,000, if we get 10,000, we have to pay 5,000, they pay 5,000.
So why don't we, Doug, can you step back up to the podium? So we already know the limit. That was gonna be my question is, do we know the match limit? So let's go ahead. Do we need to, update our agenda?
It's under this category, should be.
Yeah, I think if you just make a motion on it, it's fine, but yeah, most of the time when you do a DNR grant, the board's gonna have to say they're backing that.
I move we support the fire department in submitting the DNR grant that would have matching funds of 5,000 for a total of 10,
I support,
It's due on June 30th.
due on June 30th.
Yep.
We have a motion to support the DNR grant that's due June 30th of matching grants for 5,000 for a total grant amount of 10,000. Motion and support. Roll call vote, clerk.
trustee White,
Aye.
trustee Beek,
Aye.
trustee Langshaw, supervisor Hutchings.
Aye.
Clerk Stage, aye. Treasurer Wiersma,
Aye.
trustee Harmon.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Great, so
So I guess with that, so the, yeah, so, because that's a 90-10, so for the FEMA grant,
the FEMA grant?
yeah. That's
So
like- So if we go for,
when does that due?
it just opened back up, so I don't know if they're gonna try to work it through still for this year, this fall still, I'm hoping. that
Do you have
they'll-
to are you resubmitting what you submitted last year?
Yeah,
That's
only it's
the-
gonna be just our department, which should give us a better chance.
Is that the
We-
breathers?
Yes, it
Yes,
should.
yeah, so, because it's gonna be,
They pay 90, we pay 10?
yes.
What's the amount?
I think it's gonna be in the $250,000 to $300,000 range for all the SCBA's bottles and the air fill station and whatever it takes for the electrical hookup and all that for the fill station.
So it'd be, so our max would be upwards of 30?
Yeah, so, which I mean, we made that much.
Well, we
money,
want
we're
to do the max.
I think that we should be comfortable with that, knowing that 90% of it is going to be covered. And the fact that this is equipment that obviously will save lives, right? So, and I also think that because we chose to finance the new fire truck and we have our, $1 million plus in still an account earning interest, I think I would support a motion like that.
Yeah, I move that we approve the fire department resubmitting the FEMA with a 90-10 funding, and knowing that we're looking at upwards of 30,000.
Yeah, I think we can cap it at 30, and only to the point where if it comes in at 35, just come back for a
Yeah,
quick
until we
deal.
actually
Right.
get definite price, I mean, because who knows, I mean, it still might not ever go, it might not go through. I
Right.
mean,
Are you
but
okay with
we'll
capping it at
Yeah,
30?
capped
We
at
have to have-
30.
We have to have quotes and, for everything, and so.
Capped at 30, and as Trustee Beek said, if it's 35 or 40, I mean, 90-10,
Right, it's still,
it's still
if it's
better
that
than the
high.
roads.
So,
I'll support Lynn's motion.
We have a motion and support to support the FEMA grant, the 90-10 program, up to a contribution of $30,000, knowing that if it's higher than that, you'll come back before the board and get approval for additional dollars. Would that be a roll call? Okay.
Trustee Beeks,
Aye.
trustee Langshaw. Trustee White,
Aye.
trustee Harmon,
Aye.
treasurer Wiersma.
Aye.
Clerk Stage, aye. Supervisor Hutchings.
Aye.
so one other thing as far as the fire truck. So I made contact with Eric, I think Grant, I think is his name. I'm still waiting for prints. We were under the understanding that the truck was there. He supposedly said he had to come up with a truck. So I'm not real happy with the way things have proceeded, so told him that he was to contact me, that Brandon was out of the picture. My understanding was though that they had trucks there. He said it was gonna be 30 to 45 days before they're gonna have a truck. So I'm waiting for a print still, so I'm not real happy with.
This
with
is
the-
US Fire?
Yes.
You're kidding.
So He was supposed to have prints for me last week, and I still haven't seen them, which me, Jake, and Rob are all on the 3 that they're supposed to be sending, so I'm not.
Well, how can we support you? What do we need to do?
Well, I'm gonna give him a call, I'm give him till the end of the week and see if he's got these, supposedly these prints, and then find out exactly where, I mean, my understanding was that he had 10 or 15 trucks sitting there, and obviously that's not the case. He said he had to come up with a truck still, so he still thought that he would be able to fulfill the 180 day, whatever, 6 month that he build project, but.
Nope, that's all right.
But, so at any rate, that's kind of where I'm waiting to hear from him, but I did talk to him, and so I was put in the loop rather than,
We need you in the loop,
No,
so that's good. So Rob, are you concerned at all that we signed the agreement that they gave us to sign, that they said they had a truck available, and now they're telling our chief that there is no truck available? Like, I signed the agreement right after the board gave me the authorization to do so. This is very concerning.
Yeah, I just don't know what the terms say in the agreement, if they have a time to deliver.
well, that's kind, I'm waiting
I
to
mean,
see,
that's-
like I said, I'm waiting to even see the prints. The prints were supposed to be done within like a week. Of course, then he made it that it was, well, the FDIC conference put him behind, some of the other stuff there, but
So if you
I'm gonna
think
give him,
there's
I'm gonna give him
true-
till, I'll check with him later by the end of the week here, or maybe I'll check with him on Tuesday. That gives him,
Yeah, if you
the
truly
weekend,
think there's an issue, then we need to look at the contract and,
well,
And go at it.
my understanding was there was trucks, they had 10 or 15 trucks. The
Correct.
truck was available, they were gonna start on it.
Correct.
I mean, as soon as they got the prints, we had
Correct.
everything there, and that's
I always
not
felt
the
it
way.
was a 6-month lead time, correct?
Right. He said supposedly he didn't think that would be an issue, but he didn't say that he would definitely.
No, I understand
mean,
that,
but
but I
that-
mean, that would give us time to get some more information before we overreact, right? But if we get at the 2 months out and there's still no information, then we just may have to end up going to Plan B, because they wouldn't make the 6 months if they didn't even start at that point.
Right.
Right. Well, at any rate, I just want to bring you up to date on that, because that was.
Thank you.
Something that I talked to him. Well, he was supposed to have the print to me this last weekend or by Monday, and I haven't seen him yet, so.
Okay. Thanks, chief. Thank you for that. Anybody else for any of the other committees? Come on up, sir. Good to see you again.
You too. I really just came to see your chief. Hard to believe it's been 20-something years and I've had to come deal with him. Just so you know, the sheriff's office, we do have a special event that's going to be coming up. So we started working, obviously like most agencies, we have a lot of turnover and a lot of youth and inexperience that's out there working the street right now. And we decided last year that one of the things we wanted to try to start focusing on with the new officers and incorporating the fire side was active shooter training. So when you look at these events, and a couple of us went to some instructor schools for 3 and 4 days at a time with some larger agencies on it, we decided that it was time to try to incorporate the whole gauntlet. So this year, we will be incorporating a couple weeks in June of active shooter training that's going to be happening probably at Comstock. So year one, we did Western Michigan University, and it was more focused on the law enforcement side for a response. This being the second year, we're going to be more incorporating the fire side for the rescue task force and triaging and saving lives in one of these events, working with the fire, the EMS component. And then focusing going forward, year three is going to be a different venue, which we're probably going to be looking at, like, haven't quite decided what church it's going to be yet, but it's going to be a large church, because when I'm holding these events, we're inviting every single agency within the county and even some of the outsides like Calhoun County and Van Buren that are coming in to train with us so that everybody's on the same page. So obviously, Chief, you'll be getting another email from me here in a couple weeks for that, just so you can come out and hang out with us for the day. So just want to give you guys a heads up on that in case you see a bunch of random police cars and cruisers coming through in June, and fire trucks from other agencies. That I believe we're looking at the venue right now. It's probably going to be Comstock for the school for this summer, just because it's a little bit easy access for Portage and the city to get to. And then we were talking probably Richland Bible or another large event for next year.
Thank you.
Yep. So that's pretty much all I have.
Thank you. That's important. Thank you, sir. Moving through into old
I'll
business.
make a, I'm sorry, I normally don't, but I will make a PC meeting update because it's May. We had our meeting last night because next Monday it would be on, on the 20th. It was published that way. But anyways, I just want to share with the group that yesterday we had one application to look at, and everything was fine on that. But then when we went into trustee time, we talked a lot about different things we can do with the zoning ordinance to improve it. And at this point in time, we feel that we're ready to go to public hearing on 3 issues, and we're targeting for 4. So we're going to be looking at having a public hearing, and we'll do all 4 of those at our June meeting, which I think is June 22nd. And they include, basically, change, just to change the topographical, gradients. It's one's just a typo that we found in there. One is what is the ZBA requested of the PC to look at, I think it's 23.8, the variance criteria, because the way it's written today seems to be a lot of double negative, and it's difficult to move through that because there's 6 items, and it's like I say, it's double negative. So we just want to be easy, or to understand that. But the big one was the moratorium, and this kind of came out of the ZBA meeting because when we had trustee time, they brought up the fact that we don't have much in our zoning ordinance right now regarding data centers. So Rob was at that meeting. We talked about the moratorium. I immediately asked Pam to put it on the agenda for last night. We have the zoning ordinance from Rob's group, so Rob was able to produce that with a week, and that would be just for the PC. That's ready to go to public hearing as soon as there's one change in there, and that was the charter township. We're not a charter. I think Josh probably talked about that.
Got it.
And then that's what's going to come up for our discussion today on the board. And the PC wholly recommends that the board puts a moratorium on the data center at this point. Because basically what that does, it gives the PC time to review all the different aspects of the ZO so that we can, make sure that we are very well covered, and it stops anybody from coming in and saying, hey, I want to put in a data center, and then it fits, or it may not fit what we're going to put in our zoning ordinance within, a couple of months. Because once we make those changes, of course, it has to go to public hearing, then we would make our final and then come to the board with a recommendation. But I can share that the recommendation is for the board to really understand the importance of it, vote accordingly, but they recommend that we pass that. And then the other point the PC members discussed was, how do we get people to show up at those meetings? Because last night we had this entire conversation and every chair was empty because the applicant went home.
You could tell them that we're going to talk about water. You could just say, well, we're really talking,
I know that's a code word for marijuana.
right?
But anyways, I know I'm on tape right now, and meetings are recorded, and that was a message that I promised the PC I would bring here. So if anyone is watching, please attend these meetings, because the amount of misinformation that goes on when those people are not truly have the facts, it makes it difficult at best.
We want people to show up and
Yep.
watching.
I mean, obviously, we know there's a lot of vitriol around what's happening in Richland, and I think part of it may be in the communications that go out. Say, look, this is your opportunity to understand these very critical ordinances at this juncture, and if we put that in the email, the mailing, some of the other Facebook groups that we could say, really ask you to push this out. The people that are there, they need to come and understand this, because if you don't come and understand it now, it may be too late a year down the road if something happens.
Just to your point, when I was running, way back when, I used to show up at all your PC meetings and ZBA meetings. And I think showing up prior to the public hearing is important, because then you get to watch your fellow residents debate on how they want to put an ordinance together and how that comes about. And if you do want to comment, there is comment time at that time to let the PC, the Planning Commission, and the ZBA know what you're feeling about, instead of just showing up at the public hearing. So it would be nice for people to show up at earlier meetings besides the public meeting. So I like the idea, Lynn, of putting it out on other Facebook pages. Hey, there's a planning commission meeting and here's what's going to be discussed.
We don't
So-
have Facebook, though.
No, but you give
we're-
it to the groups,
leave it
the
to
groups that do.
like,
Oh, that
yeah,
do.
Yeah,
I wish they would. What we find is individuals would rather take to Facebook, go like discussion and social media and just ramp up rumors, instead of one coming into the township and asking questions, or sitting in the chair and seeing it firsthand. And so it's very unfortunate, because if individuals would just sit here like we have individuals sitting here right now, we would have people watching what's happening, and then they could go out and share the information with other people because they sat here and watched it, and we wouldn't have rumor mongering on
Less of it.
less of
Yeah,
it,
less,
correct?
Potentially have
Yes.
less of it.
But I think we should maybe try to reach out to some other avenues to put out there when you're having the meeting and what's going to be discussed, so that maybe we do get people showing up. I mean, I can come if you want me to.
We'd hire you back. Well, I think, yeah, and again, we could look at it as public safety, and if the committee wants to address that and determine how they can generate more support, you will have smiles on the PC. So, thank you.
Good points. Thank you. So moving into neighborhood streetlight assessments, do you feel like you want to talk about it? Because we're not moving on it. Did you
I
want to
can just
provide?
give a little
right,
update as
go
far as
for it.
where the assessor and I are at. So out of our 13 districts, we have 12 of them done. So we have one last little group to go through. We've audited all but one of the districts and went through each parcel number in the district, found a few that need to be added and a couple adjustments that need to be made. But we should have all of it done probably by next week. Angie and I will have all the data, and then we can move forward with wherever Rob has to do next.
Fantastic, Amanda, thank you. Moving into Ross Augusta Fire Department Administration, I left this on just so we could have a dialogue. Doesn't need to be long, but I just wanted to update everybody that after the last board meeting, I talked with command staff. I had a great meeting with Fire Chief Bogema. I chatted on the phone with Deputy Chief Rob Leatherman, and then I had an in-person meeting with Assistant Chief Jake Leatherman. And I felt the conversations were robust. We had good back and forth. We had questions and answer. This is very much a new role. The fire board has been around for literally decades. It now no longer exists. The Ross Township Board is now directly supervising the millage and the fire department's spend for the millage. And it gives me the onerous, very lovely job to work with our fire team in-house when they come in and have questions, or they want to get information to the board. What does that look like? So I'll be helping them with some homework. Fire chief gave me some homework. I have my folder here. He's got me doing some call outs, and I'm doing some research for him. I already submitted the first batch to the command staff. I will be attending their meeting June 2nd. I'm extremely excited to attend. Forging new relationships. I want to be able to help support them. They all have full-time careers outside of Ross Augusta. My job is to alleviate some of the administrative heartache that they have to do in their roles. And to that end, I welcome Chief to the podium. If you'd like to add anything to that, you're on YouTube. I'd love to have you share any of your thoughts or concerns, or if I got anything wrong, then come on up. You're good? Okay. It's been a pleasure working with you. Look forward to doing more of it.
I do have one, it's just a wording concern. As I was reading through the minutes, the motion about appointing Supervisor Hutchings as the board liaison, the wording that says to manage the day-to-day administration, I think that is problematic. I'm not sure from a legality standpoint the way it reads from a qualification and certification. So I would like to, whether it's to ask trustee Beeks to modify it, to change it so that it would read, to provide administrative oversight. So Supervisor Hutchins, board liaison to the fire department to provide administrative oversight.
Is it administrative oversight? I mean, or is it a liaison role to get the information from the command staff so that, like, is very well prepared to present to the trustees and, and the four of you in terms of future voting?
And
I think it's more than, it's less than oversight. It is more like administrative assistance as the liaison between the board and the department.
So to provide administrative assistance?
I think that's more accurate than oversight because.
Yeah, and I think it's smoother than what
board-
we had. I mean, there's no
Yeah.
doubt, it's smoother than what we had.
So
and-
are you good?
Well, you just need to make a motion to
Okay, I'll make
change
a mo-
that.
so
Yeah.
so I move that we modify the language of the motion that was made to read to provide administrative assistance.
I'll support.
Any further discussion? We have motion and
Do you
support.
have any thoughts on that?
No, I'm not picky. I want our command staff to not feel this is a punitive relationship. I want individuals to understand there's a reason for the liaison role. I'm the police commissioner. I'm also the liaison for the police department. Martin will come in with me and say, hey, I've got bench warrants and this is what I'm going to do. And then I say, well, from the board's perspective, this is what the board's going to want you to do. And so I'm able to temper those conversations by being able to explain board expectations, because we want residents to feel good about the millage. We want them to feel trust in both the application of public safety services and how dollars are being spent, and that there's sufficient oversight. But I'm not going to be driving a fire truck. I don't have my own helmet. I'm not going to be putting out fires. I'm here strictly to help provide administrative support for the fire team so they can go out and be firefighters and do what we need them to do, so they're not bogged down in the day-to-day stuff. So I'm fine with whatever the logistics are, language-wise. I don't want it to be punitive, and I don't want to, I don't want to continue to stoke the fires of the rumor mill out in our community. So we do need to do something that's appropriate while our fire chief is here, so he can be satisfied when he walks out that door that he likes the wording. Come on up.
So, I do think it needs to be reworded, because that's all I heard since that last week.
Sure.
From everybody, I mean, from different townships. So, so I think it does need to be reworded and clarified that this is what your position is, not, because the way it came out was that you were taking over the fire department and we were working
Oh,
with you. So-
I heard.
So, and that's what everybody, that's what my guys thought, and
So Doug, do you support the change that Lynn suggests in terms of
I
administration?
mean, I'm not a
Linguist?
word language expert by any means, so, I mean, whatever, I mean, I think that it just, as long as it's clarified that that Christina is here to help us with any, make sure legality reasons or
Yep.
anything else that, I mean, to have it worded properly.
And that you would look at her as a resource for things that,
But it, like I said, it just didn't come out that way when it first.
right,
That, I mean, so I
okay.
think that's fine, and somebody can reword it.
So what's,
Just so that he, you know.
so read the wording again while Chief's here. He's got to get to his people,
it
so
was-
I want him to be a part of this.
So it was to provide administrative assistance to the fire department.
As liaison.
Yeah, so liaison parts in the front of
board
it,
and
and
the
then
The
changes
board liaison to the fire department
to
to
provide
provide
administrative
administrative
assistance.
assistance.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that sounds fine to me, I mean, like I said, I'm not a English expert by any means
How much time do you have before you go?
for the meeting.
Yeah,
I got a few minutes, about 10 minutes.
all right.
They're having a party over there.
It's EMS week.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way. The reason I asked is because we also had a motion at our last meeting that we were going to talk about the capital expenditure percent going forward. Amanda had given everybody information in terms of what
Wait,
other.
can we vote on this?
Yeah, let's
yeah.
vote on the language
Okay,
first.
let's do that.
So
I'm
Chief,
sorry.
Chief helped create the language, so I think there being no further discussion, we can just move into a vote. Would you like to reread it?
It is to provide.
Administrative assistance
Yes,
to the fire
super-
department.
Supervisor Hutchings will be the board liaison to the fire department to provide administrative assistance.
Assistance,
Assistance.
correct. You okay with that, Chief? Is that good with you? Okay. All in favor with the change in the language? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Appreciate you, Chief. Thank you.
Okay, so we didn't float a number in terms of the study that Amanda put because, forth in the last meeting because we only had 5 members here and we elected to wait until we had 7. And I don't think the study had changed. I didn't see any new information that came out. So I would just like to go ahead. I'm not making a motion at this moment, but I just want to talk to a number like 30%. Today it's 50, but I think if we go with 30%, then that would put the operations at 70%, which is currently 50, which would give almost another $90,000 to operation at the cost of the capital. All right. So if we elect to move in that direction, and again, because we are financing the truck and we're not having a big balloon of money just gone right now, right? I mean, it will be there. It's going to give us time to assess if 30% is the right number. Because the capital plan would have to be reinitiated because the current capital plan had $240,000 a year going into it. And now I think it's going to be closer to $150,000. I mean, I'm not positive what the number would be at the 30, but I think it's 30% of what, $480,000. So even if we had $500,000, even if it was $500,000, it'd be $150,000 versus the $240,000. This would align us with more of the the areas around us that have fire. Again, we all have had Amanda's information in front of us for like 2 months now. So I'm assuming that we all assess that. We saw that a number of 35, they call it potentially indefensible. But if we go too low, then at some point we may find a shortage. But there are options if we go too low. 1, we can change it. 2, the next millage could have specifically, a part of the millage for equipment needs if we find ourselves short. But from the view that I've had, I just think that 30% would be the right number to go forward with. We would change the budget accordingly. And then, of course, I'd ask the Public Safety Committee and Christina to work with the Fire Command and say, all right, if we have an extra $80,000 or $90,000 in operations, what will we do with it? Because we all know at some point, we're still short of equipment. We are short potentially of training. We are short of gear. We may be a lower paid operation, and it may be difficult to staff. Those type things, But that's another, say $80,000 or $90,000 that would go into operations that may give the Fire Command a little bit higher propensity for success to fully staff, fully train, have them equipped, et cetera.
So the only thing I don't see the need to tie our hands and say 70-30, 60-40. We can set the plan however we want, and if a plan it's kind of like our budget. I mean, it's there to be living, breathing. As things happen, you adjust, but you only have so much money. So if it's like, okay, now we've financed it, so we need to make sure that we've set aside, so much if it's going to be paid back over 5 years. But keep in mind, if the interest rates flip on us, we may say we're paying it off tomorrow. So I think I like the comment I think was made during the minutes or during the last meeting that we ought to take that money, make sure it's accounted for in an account, and so in case we have to make that call. But I know. So I don't think I support tying our hands and saying it has to be I think if the command staff needs to look at it and say, if we are not paying our firefighters what they should be, then let's come back with a proposal and if there's equipment that we need, let's come back and say we need that. And then once we layer that out, if it ends up being, I don't, 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, and we're good with it, that's how it should be. I don't see the need to have to define a percent.
And I see a need for that, and I'll just take us through the last millage on a very high level, right? We had our mill, everybody collected a mill. We went through 4 years. We had $1 million left, right? So the question would be, well, if we could get by with $1 million less, did we need a mill? And of course we do, because and then also in the capital plan when we had 240,000 coming in, there was a couple more boats. There was obviously more trucks, and we know the only one that's due for sure is in 2030. You got to recognize that it might be an interest rate change in terms of what we can get in terms of investment, but it would not be, it's a fixed rate from the bank's perspective on the loan at
Right.
3.75.
Right.
So it's only on the one way. If we can only get 1% at one point, you know what, it might make sense. But the other thing is if we go to a 30%, and we know that's how much money, and recognize this truck will be paid with new money. I mean, we collect every year. So it's not that, we have to put it aside today. We were going to get that. And then that's what's going to give us an opportunity to see if the 30% is good. Because in Amanda's work, I mean, they have people that are only at, I think it's 5 to 10%. And we all recognize, not we all, most of us recognize there's a big need in the department that is not being satisfied at this point in time because there's a feeling, in my opinion, that the money is not there. And I think it is because, we talk about, well, we have the money, let's just spend it. But we remember the ARPA days, Doug was coming in every board meeting and saying, now I need this, now I need that. And that was an extra money. We don't have that going forward. But we have, and these needs that he is sharing, the radios, great grant work. The DNR with the air, you're looking at great grant work. So I feel if we discipline ourselves at a number that fits other communities, then over the course of the next 3 years, before we have to put a new millage up, we will know if that's workable. Because I've also seen a plan, I won't say a plan, but a point that when they put the capital plan together, there was a note that says, well, we'll take the millage to 1.5 points. And now we'll be able to satisfy all that. I'm not in favor of that. Okay, I'm in favor of, let's see if we can continue to have a great fire department like we've had, staffed well equipped, and keep it at the 1 mil. And I think that should be our goal as a board, but that's just, at least for me, talking, okay?
I think before we even think about tying ourselves to, 70-30, whatever, the command staff came up with a budget for 5 to 10 years and showed us what they were going to use that money for. Now we're sitting here talking about changing the percentages, but we're not involving them at all. And I know Doug is standing here,
Yep.
but he has his command staff working on this who are not present here.
You're aware that number that they used was made up, right?
What number?
mean, the $240,000 a year. I mean, Amanda shared later that she was just coming up with a number.
Well, she was
240
coming.
was the remainder of
Yeah.
operating, less capital from the.
If you look at the budget, I mean, the 50-50 is accurate, and if you look at where we came in for the year, I mean, yes, you're building up some that's earmarked for capital, but I would be more comfortable saying, I don't know what perceived guidelines that they've operated with, and if they're saying we can't hire people because we're X dollars less than Richland and the bigger players, what do we feel based on the type of calls we have in this area that we oughta? And I think the challenge would be, let's go back and not scrap, but modify the plan, and let's see what it is. I don't disagreeing with you as far as making sure we're funding stuff that we need, but I also don't think we should at this point, and maybe not ever, say, well, it has to be. I think we ought to approve it, but we ought to look at it and say, this budget isn't dealing with the needs you have, because I don't support taking the millage up, and that we just need to have, but, you know, if you're telling me you can't hire people because you need $3 more an hour, well, let's budget that in and see what it does.
Yeah, on one hand, you're saying we don't want to lock ourselves into 30, but you're locking ourselves into 50, right?
No,
No.
Well, but that's
Not
your
a-
hand tied, because you
No,
said you're
Not
not.
restricting funds. We're,
never,
Restricting
they're
funds
the
at
ones
all.
who put the budget together, and that's what it came out at. I'm saying if we're not happy with the budget, then let's go modify it and see is this a budget that'll work? Does that budget happen to be 70-30, 60-40?
Well, then let me be clear. I'm not happy with it, and I don't know how other board members feel about it, because I'm still shocked that we still have $1 million plus from our last millage, and we started a new one. And at this point, we only have allocated, a little over $500,000 for a fire truck. And then you take that and combine that with all the needs. I mean, I hear not everybody on the fire department even has their own reflective jacket for when they, manage accidents out at night. They're borrowing from each other. I mean, it's just,
okay,
you
I
can't
think
tell me
before-
it's under control, Mary.
I didn't say that it was.
Okay.
Okay? I didn't say that. But what I am saying is that, you're saying that you think there is a need for change. And if there is a need for change, then what we need to do is invite the command staff in and work with them and ask them. They're the firefighters. They know what they need. I haven't strapped a thing on my back and gone into a burning building. They have. And I want to get their opinion on what equipment they need, what equipment they're missing, and then changing the budget to see what that looks like. And since we do not restrict ourselves, maybe it might look like it's 90-10 for this year. And next year it may look 60-40. But saying it's going to be 70-30, I don't think that's a good plan for our fire department. And all fire departments are different. When I was looking into things, when things were still in the process of moving to the service agreement with the village and looking into things, we are very different than Richland. Their community is very different than ours. So their needs are very different, just like Hickory Corners is different. And the only people that we can ask to take that into consideration are the men in that barn. And you're telling us that you want to vote on this, and I don't think that's where we need to be. We need to have a discussion with the guys that are out in the field to see where those things have to be.
All right, and by we, you're talking about the Public Safety Committee, correct?
Actually, I'm talking about I'm saying that the command staff, we're not here to operate their day-to-day. We're here to help give guidance, give approval, and I would look to the command staff, and if they're telling me that, and I'm not sure this is what they're saying, but if it is, I think so, that our firefighters are underpaid and we can't hire some, then why haven't we done something about it? Who has told you can't raise the salaries? Who's put that limit on you?
We have upped the salaries in the last.
Yeah.
So we've upped them.
I mean, if we need reflective jackets,
And we are pretty much Richland does things a little different. I mean, Comstock, they have so many full-time people, so you can't judge them. Most of the departments, we're right in there. We could be a little higher. I mean, most of the guys are happy with, it's not like we're planning on retiring like Mike Beeks. No, it's not like we're planning on retiring being a fireman for the Ross Township Fire. So, the way we always did the budget was way back when we got the millage, that it was okay, it was gonna be 50-50, just because we were setting the 50, trying to build up the 50% to create funding for the trucks. And I don't know, I guess I'd have to look back through there and see that we had $1 million left over from the last millage. I didn't think we had that. So, but also with that said is that this truck that we're trying to buy now, we were planning on buying 2 to 3 years ago. So there wouldn't have been that money sitting there.
Yeah, and I understand that.
And with that said is any money that we don't spend in operations goes into the capital improvement. So, and very rarely have budget, but I don't think we've ever gone over our operations budget. I mean, we've been close. I think there've been like a couple times, it's been like $6,000 or $8,000 all I had left over. There's been some years that we've had, I mean, like a couple, 2 years ago, we were down almost 100 and some runs from what we were last year. So I mean, that created probably $50,000 in less for everything. So I mean, so it just fluctuates. But that's what we've just done the 50/50. That's kind of the way it was, the way we thought was the best way to work it. So that's what we've left it. We haven't really looked at any other.
Right. And I think at that rate, it's very difficult as a department to test yourself, because from Amanda's work, it's the highest that she found. The second highest was 35%. A number of them were at 25 and 20.
And higher than 35, they only mention was because they were saving up for a capital purchase, which is what we've been doing.
And if we were really coming in under $1 million, we would see, every year, I mean, we would see like, 5, 10 million in our fund. But it's not, even over the course of the 5-year mill, it's not even based on when trucks come. So I think we ought to push back, or not push back's not the right word, but we ought to challenge the command staff. Go take a look at it, because if we need jackets, why don't we have them? If we need even the breathers, and I get it's 300,000. Hopefully we're going to hear fairly soon when we resubmit. But if we don't, now that would technically that'd be called capital, wouldn't it? The breathers. So I mean that would be capital, but. What operationally are we not spending that we need to, and if we need to, let's do it, and let's see where it comes out at.
So as far as safety vests, everybody that's on the department has a safety vest. Do they bring them? We have safety vests on the truck, so everybody, when we are on call, there are safety vests for everybody to be wearing. So.
And again, maybe I'm reacting to.
Now, some of the people have bought their own high-vis coats. I mean, we have been, Richland just got some. We've been kind of in the discussion of doing that. I haven't gotten any quotes on it yet, so we have talked about that.
Yeah, and I would just ask which one would be safer for our firefighters. And
I think those are great things. I think we ought to have a heavy winter one. They ought to have a.
Well, the ones that we saw that Richland just got just this last year, I think it has, so it's got a liner you can take out. So during the spring and summer, like if it's raining, you can have just it's almost like a raincoat. During the winter, it's got the liner in it, so you can, but that was something, Richland just got this, like last 20, so that's something we haven't started to look at. I haven't got prices on those. But as far as everybody has a vest, everybody has a vest. And we've got probably 30, 40 extra vests on the truck, so. So personal vehicle, you can walk to the truck, you can get a vest, so if you're doing traffic or anything like that, so.
So Doug, are you comfortable working with your command staff and saying, look, we need to, there is no requirement 50/50. We need to make sure that we have what we need, we're paying people what is appropriate, and we've got the money as needed for capital, and go back and take another cut at
Like I
it.
said, it's just, this is the way it's worked, and so with it, I mean, it's worked fine, because it's provided us the money to buy the trucks. We've only had to borrow money for 412 for 6 months, just because we were just short $10,000 or $15,000. That's what, so it was only like a 6-month lease, but, and, so that's the only, so far since that's the only time that we have really had to, that we didn't have money available. I mean, so.
Okay. Well, then I don't know. I guess I would just. And again, I call up the Public Safety Committee, talk with the command staff, come out with some expectations, and then come back and share with the board members
I'm
what you
okay
have.
with that. If you could step in,
We do need to adjust based on doing the loan and what is
Right.
earmarked. So we make. Sorry, we do need to make adjustments based on the loan versus buying it, and have the money set, how much we want set aside to, in case we do need to flip it,
Right.
interest rates, what we're making, not what's
and
we're
if you want to
paying.
come in and talk with us and set some other parameters or different situations and scenarios up, we're good with that. Or I am, I shouldn't speak for the rest of you guys. But, and then we can come back and, you know, say we've had discussions or whatever, but I agree with Lynn, tying our hands is, I don't feel as.
And to me, it's not tying your hands because you're not making that motion to go through the entire millage and through the next 30 years, right? I mean, it's to see if it can work because then it shows some fiscal responsibility. But Doug, when you talk to your staff, I would just recommend you go with a 20-80, 30-80, 40-80, or I'm sorry, whatever, it can't be all 80s. 20, 30, 40, 50% like you are today. And then just say, what could you do different to make the department better if you had an extra 100,000, 150,000 for operations, right? And then still then determine, hey, can we make a capital plan work over the next 10 years if we stay at a mill for when the trucks need to be replaced? Because again, we saw that on the capital plan. The next one is 2030, and then wasn't it 2035 after that? 2038. So
What
you're
about the
looking at
vote?
one in 4 years and then another one in 13. And you may look and say, you may come back and go, you know what? We can do this and we can drop it to 0.8 mils for everybody. I doubt that'll get it.
I have is that I'm not, if you say that we're supposed to spend $350,000 or $400,000, whatever, 80% of our, so what, 500,000, so it's gonna be what, $400,000 we're supposed to spend every year just to operate. That means that, there's a lot of stuff, yeah, could you use it? Yeah, we could use it. Are we ever gonna use it? Maybe once. There's stuff on the truck that I have not used in the 50 years I've been on here.
Yeah.
There's been stuff. We have.
No, I understand that.
So it's one
And
of
that,
the- So, but when you say that we're gonna spend 80% of that, close enough. Well, I wanna hear you. I'm just saying that, that 80% of it is, that's why the 50%,
yeah, and 2080 might not work, right? 50-50 has worked, but we have a pile left. So if we look at a 40-60, a 30-70, and then just see what your command staff says, hey, if we did this, what would it look like? Because the biggest change that you have to think about is, yeah, you've been doing this for 50 years, and that's the way they've been doing it. Very difficult to move out of that, as you can tell today.
for me, that's pretty hard to do.
Well,
And we can also take another slice at the way the capital's laid out, because we got the boat, the boats for this year?
We're
If we can find one?
kinda, if haven't really gone any farther on that again right now, so, but,
So I mean, so we can
We've
do
been
that and
working
say,
on the
okay,
truck.
based on, and it's like scenario playing. Worst case scenario, we have to pay cash. Better case, we can take out a loan. I don't really believe government should be in debt, but I like when the interest rates that we're earning is higher than the interest rate that we're paying. So when that works out, that's a good move to make. But we can take another slice at it and say, look, we only need 20% or 30%, based on these purchases and replacement, and so we can take a look that way and say, okay, that does potentially free it up, and how do you want to spend it? How
Well,
should you
and
spend
even-
it, not how
and
you
even-
want.
Yeah.
Even then,
How should-
even then, just like it always has before, is what doesn't get spent is gonna go into the capital improvement. It's not gonna get spent just to spend it. So that's not the way,
I agree with
that's
that.
not the
We
way it
don't-
works.
We don't want waste, and if we have more than we need, then we can rethink something else, because we have to rethink everything every 4 years
Which is the way
anyways.
it's worked so far, is what hasn't got spent has gone into the capital improvement funding, which, there's been a few years that we've been pretty close. We try to go through there and look at, gasoline costs and insurance costs and put it down and make sure that we're covered a little bit, but not having $50,000 in gasoline costs when we
So
only 20.
our current budget doesn't reflect our rent down in Augusta that we're now paying. It doesn't reflect what our new loan payment's gonna be, so that 50-50 split on this year's current budget, because we did the budget in March, is not a 50-50 split once you take those out of there anyways. So I think we need to start with a amending the current budget to reflect those things that we've now agreed to do, and then see where we're actually at, because that 260 that we were putting into capital this year, now we've got 120,000 coming out of it, plus another 6,900 for rent coming out of it. I mean, it's no longer a 50-50 split. So,
Yeah, I mean, and again, we know we can amend budgets all the time,
Right.
right?
Good. So
I mean,
I think
we're a
at-
government.
I think we're at a good spot. So, we'll have some additional discussion in June.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Thanks, Chief. Now I can hear you. So stay up there.
Nope, I'm leaving now.
Enjoy your party.
Okay.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Moving into Russ Township Park Gatehouse. So Russ Township Park Gate,
Doing appointments.
Yeah,
that's
you-
right.
Do the appointments
Yes,
up.
appointments.
Sorry.
So, no, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I have right here. We have for Planning Commission, we have Dr. Tom Sod. I will be asking this board to support me in confirming his appointment to the Planning Commission. Dr. Sod and his family are longtime residents of Ross Township, currently residing on Sherman Lake. Dr. Sod has a deep appreciation for the lake and its ecology, helping to guide lake improvement efforts through his current role of leading the Lake Management Committee and his role as a beach director. He has spearheaded lake drainage projects and secured funding for a cleanout station at the Sherman Lake boat access site. With Dr. Sod's long-term standing within our community and his fact-oriented approach, I believe he would be a valuable addition and an asset to the Planning Commission. So I would like to ask that this board support me in nominating Dr. Tom Sod to the Planning Commission for Ross Township.
I would support, and you may want to mention that with Cheryl Duffy Geiger's recommendation, who knows him in great detail, so I trust her.
Oh, SAAD, Dr. Tom Sod, SAAD. And this is a glowing letter of recommendation from one of our ZBA commissioners, Cheryl Duffy Geiger.
I'll support.
So we have a motion and support the appointment for Dr. Tom Sod to the Planning Commission.
Just for, you made the motion or Michael?
I'm
She made the motion. I originally supported it, but Mary can
Oh,
support
okay.
it too. That's
Oh,
fine.
I'm sorry. I thought
Oh, it's
you
no
made
big
the
deal.
motion.
No.
No, I'm changing
Christina
it.
made the motion, yeah.
Never mind. I won't support you did.
Thanks, Lynn.
How many candidates were there?
we had, what, 4?
No, we had 2. We only have 2 candidates that came forward. When we replaced on the PC, Jim Price came on, and he resigned due to medical issues. So his vacancy, he hasn't been at a meeting in probably 4 or 5 months, but he just officially resigned. I think it was in March. So, and in every PC meeting, we say, hey, if anyone knows anyone, right, come in. And then we also have a candidate vacancy in the ZBA, because we did have one candidate. He went to one meeting and then he unfortunately passed away. And so we are trying, and we had another one resign, obviously. So we are currently at 4 out of the 5, and she's going to have a recommendation for that as well. But between the 2 recommendations, they are the only candidates that everybody on the PC and ZBA going out to work at was able to come, because out of the, I think, other 12 that they approached, all 12 said no.
We did have some other individuals that I recruited after I talked with Rob that I could pull that were on other commissions in our community, and they did respond to me that they just couldn't do it for time constraints. I mean, to be on these commissions, you've got to go do a site visit. You've got to be able to keep up with the language. You've got to be able to ask the questions and do the research. And so it's a lot of work. So I'm super excited to know that we've got some very high-level quality individuals that are going to be taking up both of these seats, both for Planning Commission and ZBA. So any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries. Thank you so much. Unanimous. The next one is Ella Philander. This would be a ZBA appointment. Ella Philander has been highly recommended to the Ross Township Zoning Board of Appeals. Her analytical thinking and interpretation skills are excellent. She thoroughly prepares for meetings and follows up as necessary. Ella is open to listening to others while working through difficult issues and is a team player. She is a devoted resident of Ross Township who works tirelessly to put our community at the forefront. This is another glowing letter of recommendation from Bonnie Sawish, who is sitting on our ZBA commission.
What's her, like, business background?
I do not have her application in front of me.
Applied, I can't remember, but I know she named 3 schools in it. That's what I can remember. So I'm assuming it's master's. But I can share that Bonnie is an attorney.
I was just
I mean,
curious.
from
Yeah.
just to support the recommendation.
I just brought the letters of recommendation rather than the applications, but highly, highly recommended by very strong, reputable individuals on both of our commissions. So I feel very comfortable with their recommendations.
I move that we accept Ella
Philander.
Lander for the ZBA.
So we have a motion and support to accept Ella Philander's appointment to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None. Motion carries.
So
Thank you so
Christina, will you
much.
be reaching out to both to let them know of the?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Yes,
And
I'll be
then-
contacting them tomorrow.
And our next ZBA meeting is first Monday in June. And then our PC meeting, I believe, is the 4th, which would, the 4th Tuesday. Or, I'm sorry, we're on a Wednesday for the ZBA. Monday, which I think was June 22nd, would be the first PC meeting.
Do they have the Planning Commissioner Zoning Board of Appeals schedule in their possession?
That I do not know. I know it's on the web.
I'll get that to them.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get that to them. You can have this, mine's printed, so you can go ahead and have that. So I'll take care of that. Any further discussion? Thank you. Moving into the Ross Township Park Gatehouse. The Ross Township Park Gatehouse is seeing better years. It's buggy and falling apart, and we are in a position to do something different. We are working with a couple individuals that live across the street, and his name is Perry, and Perry has a construction background, and he's been just an asset for us. And his wife, Julie, is a park attendant. So what Perry has suggested is that he gets a discount being a contractor, and he can get a new gatehouse for us for the amount of $1,800. I applied for a Rotary grant. I've not been awarded a Rotary grant yet, but since we've got a great partnership with Rotary, they have indicated that they're going to support us, but we just don't have a financial incentive yet. Mary Carroll loves the park, and she wants to donate $300 toward this project in memoriam for our police chief, Dennis Wilkins, in his memory. So I would be seeking today a amount to spend $1,000 to cover things that are not covered by grant and memoriam donations for a new park gatehouse for Ross Township Park.
That a little dangerous if the Kiwanis doesn't come forward, because then
Rotary?
you wouldn't have enough. Or, not the,
Well, what I would like to do is get it approved. No spend will occur until we hear from Rotary. Once we hear from them, then we'll know if we're getting the amount.
and from what you've described, it sounds like just getting a new gatehouse is probably pretty important if we want to continue to hire people and
Correct.
do that. So I would amend the motion to say up to $1,800 that is netted down with donations, or $1,500 if with Mary Carroll's $300.
Is the donation for expenses that would be above and beyond the 1,800, like, I don't know, vegetation, and
No, so
do you think it's,
Perry has indicated that he will even remove the gatehouse for us, which is a nice thing because normally we would have to dispose of that. So he's going to take that away. He's going to hook up the electric for it. So these are just wonderful gifts for us to be able to get a brand new gatehouse that's going to be more weather efficient, less buggy. And I like where you're going, which is can I do 1,500 and then go ahead and get Perry to order it and get moving on it because we are looking at
But
opening
is
the
that,
park.
is her 500 for expenses above and beyond the 1,800, or brings the 1,800
That's all in. Yeah,
down?
that's all in, yeah.
1,800.
'Cause, I mean, if we're looking at a possible donation from the Rotary, and we do 1,800, like Mike said, maybe we're doing the 300, I like the garden thing for a memorial for Mary Carol's husband around the gatehouse.
I mean, there's other
I
things.
would like a
kind of
plaque
beau-
or something to,
To beautify it and,
Correct.
you know, make it more presentable for our
Maybe
guests.
air conditioner. I mean, there's other things
air
that you could
conditioner,
do, like, so if Rotary comes through, but
it is so hot in there.
did Carol do 300, you said?
She's going to do 300. I already applied for a $500 Rotary grant. I just haven't heard anything back yet.
All right. Back years, decades ago, my brother, his Eagle project was somewhere in the Ross Township Park. Nobody can remember what this was like in the 70s. And so the Harmon family will throw in a donation to match Mary Carol's.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. So we're going to want a couple of plaques with that.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, you're making me cry. That's outstanding. So the Harmon family, right here and right now, is doing a matching grant of $300 for Brother Harmon and
J. Allen Harmon.
J. Allen Harmon.
Is there anything you'd like that to go through? To above and beyond, or?
I'm not going to put any ties on it.
Oh, okay. So,
It's probably, but they won't be ready till fall. You don't move a lot of plants that are permanent.
Perfect.
So we can get hostas. I mean, we can do,
I have some hostas in my yard that I'd be more than happy.
I got some daylilies that need to go.
I meant for manual labor.
So this sounds like this is an all-in wonderful project. So
I move that we support the project, and we support it up to 1,800, knowing that donations have come through and will come through.
Second, support.
we have a motion and support to approve up to $1,800 for a new gatehouse for the park attendants at Ross Township Park. We will be hoping for Rotary dollars. We will be memorializing Police Chief Dennis Wilkins, and we will be memorializing J. Allen Harmon with the family donation. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries.
Make sure that he gets some good airflow through that place, because that other one did not have it.
Yeah, Perry's got some
Not
good,
Nice.
yeah, he's got some good plans, so I'm excited
it's
to watch them
J
lead.
as in Jerry. So J period Allen, Allen, Harmon.
So moving into signage update, I have quoted in all of your packets, the creeper out front, some different, ideas for the LED sign. The motherboard quote was, if I just repaired it, it was $1,750. However, I mean, look at the other things that they sent us. We could do something a lot different for a little bit of an upgrade. So what my contact said is, do you like any of these signs? Like, they gave the Ross Township one, they have a full LED screen, which I love. It's better than just a crawler messaging up front. So I really like that. Come join our fun. Harding's, they've got, again, a bigger LED screen, again, with the credit union, Comstock, Blue Ox Credit Union. So they're indicating that they want to be able to take our creeper up front and make the LED screen bigger, which I would love.
They're gonna move the way the sign is.
Well,
Like, can we move it this way so people can read it?
so let's talk about that. So I wasn't here when that sign was built, so I have no idea how long it took to cobble that together. I have no idea how long it's gonna take to pitch it in a different,
Can you
Direction.
move it?
Needs to go down closer to the road where people can see it.
Well, but the electrical box is right there though. So then we're gonna be running electrical closer to the road, whereas if we just tie it in right there, I kind of feel like it should be maybe a little bit taller and then it is east-west traffic so people can see it both, east and west. So
Maybe get some more people to your PC meeting if they saw it on the sign.
No, I don't recall the number, except in my head, it was over 50 grand to even put that sign in.
It was
We
done,
should-
it was done when they
Did this building.
did this building, so Mary Carroll might know, but
We should look at that cost.
yeah.
Then we should look at the ordinances, because even the bluff sign over there that's way up on the hill, Ed is facing the road, it's too small to even see. And I can't believe that the Ross Township would go in front of the ZBA for a variance.
Joan,
I would say this, that the township does not have to abide by its own ordinances. So you don't have
Get
to
a
go from.
break.
I know, and I would say, wow, if we don't, I just think that might not be great business. But anyways, that said, I think if we want to do anything other than fix it, we ought to get full quotes. We know the full cost, because, if you take, that sign down, you have, the raising costs, you have rerunning electrical wire, you might have, again, I don't know if we do, but I don't think we're willing to spend another 30, 40, 50 grand so it's easier to read on people who are going by at 60 miles an hour.
no, but, so this was exciting, so we've got people sitting there. So they're talking about making the LED sign bigger. So I would think if we make it bigger, it might not be as hard to read.
And again, that was the $1,700.
60 miles.
What was that
No,
cost?
the $1,700 is
Was
just to
just to fix
replace
it.
the motherboard, so we keep this. Or for a little bit more, we can get a bigger
What's that?
screen.
Right.
But we have to tell them which option we want to explore. That's why there's all these different
tell them we want a quote.
options in here. Yeah.
Tell them, I mean, we need a quote. I mean, I don't get all, I mean, obviously, I don't know if it's just the size of the sign, but it would be, okay, in that framework, what could you do and what's the price? Because as much as I would love to turn that 90 degrees, I just don't know. I mean, I barely read the one in Augusta, I'm going 35 through there, and it's on a nice angle as you come. I just don't know how much it gets us. I'd rather put colored LED lights on here so we could change them to green when we need to.
So get a quote for a bigger LED screen, which is this one right here, premiering our sign
On
and
that
leaving
sign.
it
Yeah.
the way it is.
I think that would be our first step.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you're looking at $1,000, in addition to the 17,
Okay.
you know what? I think that's palpable. But if you're looking at 12,000, then the 1,700 isn't looking too bad, right?
Right.
Because again, we talk
Okay.
fiscal.
Not that I don't like it, but
All right, I'll get quotes on that. We got another signage update. Does the treasurer want to jump in here?
Sure. This came yesterday from the city of Kalamazoo. It is the signage that they, that taking in account our feedback, have prepared to put on their property over on Greer Drive and 37th Street. There's 3 signs that we have images of. The back 2 are 2-foot by 2-foot signs. And the first one is a 4-foot by 8-foot, and that's the one that has the Ross Township logo right bottom. And the attached map are their sign locations. These are very, what did you say? Very approximated locations. The larger sign going on the Greer Drive and 37th Street corner right there. That's the one with the Ross Township on it. The other locations are for the smaller 2x2 signs on their property.
I like the first one. I like the green.
I do too. I like it a lot. Yep.
Yeah, the other 2 are the smaller signs that are going elsewhere.
They're
on the
not
property.
they're not reaching out for us to vote. They're just saying, here's what's going up.
Well, here's,
right.
here's the signs that with our input, these
Yeah,
are the
I like it.
eyes.
But at a prior meeting, there were those who didn't even want our name on the sign, and I think that's the issue we have to decide.
We already proved that.
Yeah, we already approved it. What we wanted to see was
Okay.
their final before they
I
put
did
them out
miss a
there.
couple of meetings earlier
Yeah.
this year.
Yep.
So,
That was your winter break. You missed it.
2 smaller signs that are going up and 1 larger sign?
Correct.
Good, knock that off our list. Got 2 signage updates, thank you. Now we're moving into zoning moratorium, and so I'm gonna defer to Attorney Thal, but the moratorium discussion is as follows. The Ross Township Board has the authority to impose a temporary moratorium, a short-term pause on specific land use activities such as solar farms, data centers, and wind turbines, while the Planning Commission updates pertinent zoning ordinances. A moratorium helps prevent development proposals that may conflict with forthcoming regulations or place serious strain on road traffic, utility systems, or public safety services. So thank you for that. That's a fantastic way to not create panic in our communities, to have individuals understand why we will be having a moratorium discussion. And at this point in time, I will turn the gavel over to Attorney Thal.
All right, so we have two different ordinances in front of us. One is not a moratorium ordinance. So I'll address the moratorium ordinance first. The other is a zoning amendment that I'll address after that. But to implement a moratorium, to have it lawful, you have to adopt 2 things. The township board needs to adopt a police power moratorium, and then the zoning board, the planning commission needs to recommend a change to the zoning ordinance to allow for a moratorium through the zoning ordinance. So it's kind of both things, a police power moratorium and a zoning moratorium. Taken together, the courts have said that that is a proper moratorium. It has to be set for a temporary period of time. It can't just be indefinite. We're just going to block any project that tries to come in. It has to be for a set period of time to study. And then during that time, you have to be diligent in trying to understand the issues, study it. That will all occur at the planning commission level. They would be looking at the issues associated with data centers, maybe have some experts come in and do some presentations to the planning commission during that time frame. And then at the end, you'd hope to be able to either, address it one way or another through the planning commission to the township board. One of the things that you want to avoid, why we really need to do something like this, is because we don't want to be caught flat-footed. We could see what happened in Saline Township, where they were approached for a hyperscale data center, which is just a massive data center. And they tried to say, it's not permitted in our township. They got sued then because it wasn't permitted, and sued for exclusionary zoning. So there's a concept in zoning that you cannot be exclusionary in the face of a demonstrated need for an activity unless there's no location appropriate in your township for that need. And so they were sued on the basis of exclusionary zoning and ended up in a settlement agreement, and that hyperscale data center is being built as we speak. So we don't want to be caught in that type of situation where somebody could come in and propose a data center, and we're like, well, it's not permitted. We don't have any regulations for it. It's not permitted. The blueprint's already there to sue your way in with an exclusionary zoning claim. The federal government has said that there's a need for AI data centers, and then also the state of Michigan has put in tax exemptions and other benefits trying to attract data centers to the state. So both at the federal government, state level, they're saying that there is a demonstrated need for these data centers to occur. And, so in the face of that, you can't just prohibit it unless you can prove that there's no property available in the township or no location that's appropriate for that use. So that's, we'll hopefully enact this moratorium, and then the planning commission will study the issues, maybe work on a data center ordinance that would be very robust and very restrictive to deal with the issues that are associated with data centers.
So are we tonight voting on this?
So
If somebody makes the motion to?
yeah, so this is an ordinance, this is the police power ordinance. It's still, the zoning one still has to go to public hearing, and then we'll come back to this board as a recommendation.
So the fastest this could this be all done by our next board meeting, our June?
If you sign it today, that is already in place.
So, this is the first aspect of putting it in place. I would take the position that we're still, even though the zoning is working its way through, that we have a
Right,
moratorium in
so
place.
somebody came, if we approve this tonight, somebody came next week, we could say,
We have a moratorium
Yeah,
for the next
moratorium.
year, yep. And the zoning is working through their moratorium. so-
what's the maximum temporary that we can have? I mean, it does give us the ability to extend it.
So most of the time, you do them at about 6 months with the ability to extend. We push this out because it's it's a big issue. There's a lot of factors that go into this. It's kind of a new field. Now, data centers are not necessarily new. We've got data centers all over the state, but on a smaller
The
scale.
size of them is
Yeah, I
what's-
mean, you might not even know when you drive by a data center. It just looks like an office building. It could be an office building. I toured a bank headquarters, and in the bank headquarters, they have a data center in there with liquid-cooled floors and so forth. But nobody even
Water
knows
consumption.
nobody even knows it's there. But what we're talking about really are these, we will look at just a regular-sized data center, but then we'll also be addressing these hyperscale data centers that use tremendous amounts of energy.
Water.
The one in
Maybe
Saline.
not, because the zoning ordinance might say air cooled.
Celine, and it had the word Augusta on it.
Oh, they're calling here. Yeah.
Yeah.
In Saline, I
You had
believe,
to look at it before you did
Yeah.
figure out it didn't belong
uses,
here.
it uses about the same amount of energy that would power, I think it's 1 million homes. So that's how much energy these things use. They have to, under the law too, they're supposed to supply their own energy. So they have to make commitments to pay for their own energy
Are they,
that they're
are
using.
they bringing like solar in next to them? Is that what they're doing?
They could use solar, they could use nuclear, they could use wind, they could, there's just, but they're gonna have to be able to provide their own energy, paying for those costs. It might not be next door. I mean, you could produce energy anywhere to be used for that facility, but they're still gonna have to be paying for that and proving up that they are responsible for their own energy consumption. But as you can see, huge amounts of energy consumption. There's issues of how they're cooled. They get extremely hot, and so there's different ways to cool them. There's just there's water cooling with water cooling towers where it evaporates. That uses a tremendous amount of water. A lot of systems are being put in that make them closed loop systems, so they don't use as much water. They recirculate the water through. And other systems will say, and other ordinances will say that you can't use any water to cool it. You can use water for your bathrooms and other things, but look, we're going to protect our aquifer. You're going to have to air cool it, and it's going to require more energy use, but that's not going to impact our aquifer.
So do we have like subject matter experts to come into our PC to?
Yeah, I mean, there are people that we can line up to speak on the topic and do some presentations, and I think that's something that you have to do your due diligence on
Yeah.
how you're dealing with that issue. One thing, I will just say one thing, in the moratorium ordinance, there's one correction that needs to be identified, and that is in the version that you have, I believe it references the Charter Township Act in that first, in accordance with Public Act. It should read, in accordance with Public Act 246 of 1945, MCL 41.181. And that's that's general law township authority.
Is this a motion or a resolution?
It will be once
No,
we're
that's-
done
this-
discussing it. But I also wanted to share, I know Rob was not at the PC meeting, but Josh Thal was, and the PC basically moved away from the moratorium on solar battery because we already addressed that in the ZO, and it's state mandated, right? And so there's nothing our ZO can do to change.
So this is the difference, is that the state has not taken over the authority or land use authority for data centers. So it's still local regulated. Unlike Act 233, which took over or allows for the state to take over the siting of
Yeah.
solar, wind, and battery generation. So in those cases, under that law, if you were to put in a moratorium for those processes, it allows the developer to go straight to the state for approval.
I mean, I know we after some changes, we updated those, but I think we still feel like we've got the the strongest we can on those.
Yeah, and I think, those might need to be looked at some more, but I believe like we just tabled or postponed approval of them just because, we were not going to put it into place and try to, and
I think
maybe attract.
to seeing, I mean, I recently read it again, seeing solar come to Richland potentially, like putting some additional, like fire protection, like verbiage in ours, being that we provide mutual aid over there, that, maybe having them like kick in for some equipment because ours, yeah.
So that's huge. So I did attend a solar ordinance training or a solar training. And what the individual said when they were doing the training was that they should be able to, in their public safety deployment of resources, is funnel money up to and including buying a new truck or gear or paying firefighters additional dollars if they have to fight a fire on that mega site. And so I was very attracted to that language because these are big deals, and we need to be able to make sure that we don't expend all of our resources on not getting reimbursed. I mean, if we're gonna have to go out and put out a fire at a data center or a solar farm, we need to tap into that resource, because what I was told at training was they will rain money down to help the first responders, to help the fire departments deploying those assets to put out a fire on their property.
Taxpayer money they're raining down, but.
Right, noted in our ordinance, some maybe more stringent.
And I think we look at road infrastructure and public safety,
I do
so.
think we need to
Yeah.
obviously deal
Yeah.
with this, but I think we gotta circle back around and just see if there's anything else.
That wouldn't be a bad idea, because that was probably maybe a year ago that we looked at the
Year and a half,
solar,
yeah.
and there's been things, it's a emerging issue.
Especially when you look at what's happened with some of the tornadoes that's gone through the solar and the damage and what it's done to the surrounding, homeowners, setbacks, screening, I mean, all that. But let's finish dealing with this. It's getting late.
How is this moratorium, like, how do they regulate it? You say it can't just be open-ended to just put it on, leave it on. So how do they regulate it, and how often can you renew it, and what are the details in that?
So, it's not regulated except by us, but the fact is, it's regulated through the courts. So if a developer were to come in and say we have a moratorium for a year, and then we put it in for another year or something, and a developer really is looking at locating their hyperscale data center in Ross Township, they might file suit and say, look, you're allowed to do a temporary moratorium to try it, but you can't just be putting us off forever to say that you're never going to allow, basically exclude that use from your township on a permanent basis by using a moratorium. So it's really regulated through the courts, and if a developer desires to come into our community and wants to kind of try to kick down the door and get their project in. But I would be, putting it out a year is about the extent of how far you want to go out. Now, we'll have to see where we're at the end of that year, and if we need more time, then yes, we could extend it out. But I think the biggest thing through the courts is that they want to know that it's just not there to just prohibit it. It's there because you're actually doing some work on it. And if you're just prohibiting it, you run the huge risk of what happened in Saline, and, they didn't want to risk the risks associated with that. These are multi-billion-dollar facilities. And if you are if a court says, nope, you're illegally excluding that, you can owe damages, a tremendous amount of damages to those corporations. I'm not privy to what went on in that Saline Township, but after they got sued, they reached a settlement for it to go in. I'm sure they were faced with the prospect of potentially, bankrupting kind of damages, or huge amounts of damages that you would then have to spread as a millage levy on your public. So, we don't want to be put in those types of situations, so we put in the moratorium as the way to go with it, to work on it and study it, and, the goal would probably be to put in regulations at the end of that period that are very stringent regulations, to protect against the nuisances that it causes.
And also what happens if they go out of business?
Yeah, all those things would take, what happens if they go out of business, all those kinds of things you would be looking at in developing some type of ordinance. Or, if you get to the end and determine that there's no location appropriate in your township, you could come up with that. But there's risk associated with that too, but at least you've studied it. You're not just prohibiting it and that's that. If you study the issue and you determine that, that might be difficult to determine, but if that was the final result of the determination, then at least you have something to stand by if it gets challenged in court. I don't know how many of these hyperscale data centers there's actually going to be. I mean, they're multi-billion-dollar facilities. They are building them out in different places, but they're also, your places are in competition for them also. Some places want them, other places don't want them. But, there's not going to be all throughout our state a bunch of hyperscale data centers. There'd be competition probably for different locations, but just the amount of expenditure to create them, it's not going to be like every township has one of these things, or every township's even being looked at for these things. They have to be in a location typically that has high-speed internet, that has the ability to tap into the power generation needs that they have. And so not every location is going to be appropriate for those uses.
And I know I shared it earlier, but it may come in again, but on June 3rd, we're noticing a public hearing for the PC's ordinance for this. So that's how fast we will be working on that. And then we'll be working with Rob and his group to bring in the experts, see what we want to do. The one thing that I just will share that, and I think it's another reason why we should look at solar, is every month that goes by, you got two parties looking at, what are they going to do now and how are we going to respond, right? And so it is going to be dynamic. And so getting on a good ground floor, because even the ordinance we looked at last night with Josh Thal, I mean, they've already used it in 6 or 8 different communities, right? And
Yeah, we put this, or probably more than that. We
Yeah.
put in moratoriums, they're going in, everybody
get a
is pretty
head
much
start
adopting these
anyways
things.
with this as well.
You guys do the study on where it's appropriate?
Pardon me?
You guys do the study on where it's appropriate or not appropriate in our.
At the zoning ordinance to determine what is it that we want to protect, right? And then project, they would just have to fit with the zoning ordinance, or they come in front of the planning commission or the board or the ZBA, probably not the ZBA because it'd be a little more than a variance. So,
Okay.
So this is just giving? Okay, we're going to say we're putting a moratorium on, you're suggesting a year, so that the PC has the time and the ability to develop an ordinance for data center.
Or study the issue
study
and
okay.
see what comes out of it. But it gives them time to, if that's the direction they're going, to develop a ordinance in that regard.
you have a year built in already in the ordinance, so, with the ability to extend.
I move that we adopt this ordinance for a temporary moratorium on data centers to give the PC time to do their due diligence of data centers for Ross Township.
So we have a motion and support to approve the temporary moratorium on data centers, providing the planning commission do research and report back to the board.
With the edit to the Public Act number.
Yeah, with the clerk, you have the correct Public Act number from Attorney Thal?
No. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yes, with the correct, yep, I do. With the,
I'll just share, we can thank Bert Gale for that, because if we used that other number, it would have probably created a social media firestorm, because it would refer to us as a charter township.
Oh, Lord.
So it was just an error.
Good.
But thank
Yeah,
Bert
it's
for,
just because the last one was
Yeah.
from a chart.
right, and thank God
And-
for Bert.
Very good. Rob, is this a resolution or is this just a straight
No,
vote?
it's an ordinance, so it needs to be by roll call.
Okay. You're okay.
Trustee Harmon.
Aye.
Treasurer Wiersma.
Aye.
Clerk Stage, aye. Supervisor Hutchings.
Aye.
Trustee Langshaw.
Aye.
Trustee Beeks.
Aye.
Trustee White.
Aye.
Yes.
So are we then talking about the zoning ordinance text amendments?
So, yeah, then the next item is a zoning ordinance text amendment or text amendments. These have gone through public hearing at the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission recommends their adoption, and there's just two things that they're correcting. So one is, goes back to the sidewalk issue that we had earlier, maybe this year, or maybe late last year. In our C2 Commercial Bay District, we had a provision that required the Planning Commission to require sidewalks. And, you know, in that case, it was in front of, basically required sidewalks to nowhere. And so we've just amended that section to allow for the Planning Commission to require sidewalks at their discretion. So it's not required, but if they choose to, they can require them. So that gives a little more freedom, because one of the things is, if we create sidewalks, then we have sidewalk liability issues. And if it's a sidewalk that is not beneficial to the public, we don't want to tie the hands of the Planning
Do
Commission.
we have sidewalks anywhere in our township?
Say, yeah, Bay or,
Okay.
Allendale Park.
Yeah.
Had to put in a 30-foot sidewalk. They went nowhere. I mean, it just went from one side of the yard to the other, right? And so they had to come back for a variance.
Right,
but
I
the
remember
board-
that.
Yeah,
I
the
remember
board
that.
approved the fact that, hey, they can just come back for the variance, and that's when we
I
said.
move we adopt the,
Well,
sorry.
I'll just tell you, one other thing that's changed in here is that Bert Gale, our zoning administrator, went through our ordinance and updated the lighting standards to provide current lighting terms rather than some outdated terminology for lighting. So that's really what he just brought them up to current standards, you know, and all the different sections that we had to change to bring them up to current standards. So that's the basis of these amendments.
It's lots of, the new word is luminaire. Because before it was footlight candle power or whatever, which nobody uses anymore, and it's just easier to.
Lumens.
And then, and of course, Michael Moore is on our planning commission as well, being a career electrician, and he just said this is good stuff what Bert brought forward.
I move we adopt the amendment.
Motion and support to adopt the amendment for the zoning ordinance regarding site development standards, outdoor lighting standards, and existing outdoor lighting. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please, clerk.
Sorry, Trustee White.
Aye.
Trustee Beeks.
Aye.
Trustee Langshaw.
Aye.
Trustee Harmon.
Aye.
Treasurer Wiersma.
Aye.
Clerk Stage, aye. Supervisor Hutchings.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Or it's a motion, it's not a resolution.
The ordinance,
Okay.
ordinance carries.
So Rob, I know it goes in effect 8 days after Mary publishes, but are you going to be putting together new pages for Mary Carroll so that we can insert them in the ZO?
Yes.
And then also send out a new electronic copy for everybody that's searchable? Okay, that's what I thought you were going to do.
That was slick.
And it's amazing what you can do with that.
So does that mean I can turn in my zoning binder and get the use the electronic version?
Mary Carroll's gonna have you bring it in. She's gonna pull out stuff and then send you away with new things, but she'll have
I don't want a
everything.
new one. I want just electric version. Electronic.
If you return it to Mary Carroll and say, hey, you don't want it back, then I don't know why we wouldn't be able to put Rob's submission on our website for everybody. And then it will always stay accurate, but, you know, we've kind of flipped through them as a PC and a ZBA, so.
I mean, I can see that you guys have one,
Yeah.
but Happy to
Right.
sell electronic version.
So,
The problem with putting it on the website is that we have ADA disability standards coming in 2027, and that's a pretty big document, and I don't know how we're gonna make that fly.
in the zoning ordinance?
Well, I think, yeah, you can,
Don't laugh, it's
no,
gonna be
I
a
know,
nightmare.
yeah, I mean, I know that
You're
Michael
gonna-
Vila in my office
Yeah.
is,
Tearing his hair out.
yeah, he can work with you on that, but you have a electronic version on for now at least, and we'll keep that updated.
Yeah. Well, then in this case, just give Lynn and anyone else who doesn't want a book like Diana a link. You know,
Yeah, it's
or a
on,
copy.
it'll be on your website.
Okay.
All right, very good. Moving into, any further discussion? Okay, moving into second and final citizen comment. It's 8:00. Speed round. We have 1 minute. Who would like to address the Ross Township Board? Speed round is open and closed. Thank you. Trustee updates.
The only thing, just make sure for the June meeting, we need to do one last budget update for last year to make sure we're good. We probably should have done it last meeting, but we'll do it. And then the following one, we will do April, May, June. The July meeting, we will do our first quarterly update.
The election went good. I actually got home about 11:45, so
Way to go. I didn't.
both of them passed. So, I don't know.
Any issue with the church? I know we had talked about some of the language in the church contract. Did it go well?
Oh, my, yes, the meeting with the church went very well. It was a very productive meeting. We came to agreement. We do now have a checklist for the church that they will have someone go over when we're setting up and taking
Sure.
everything down.
So you're happy with the entire agreement now with that
Yes.
checklist?
Mhm.
Okay, that's,
was great.
That's key. Thank you. I have one thing, but again, it may have been when I missed one of those meetings, but did we ever close out or announce the position on the no wake zone in the sandbar?
The DNR did an investigation, and they were not interested in pursuing this one.
Right, was that communicated to the people who were doing that? Okay, that's all I wanted to know that. Okay, thank you. That's closed out. I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Support.
Motion and support to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None. Motion carries. Everybody have a good night. Thank you for coming.